way back when I was young, it was a different story. I was young because I just wanted to do a lot of things. But my grandparents was the one that come push me back like this to not overcome a lot of things that I'm not supposed to be doing. So it's the way my life was. But to begin my story, I was born on the south end of below Hollow Mesa. That's that mountain. That's where I was born. It's my birthplace in the Hogan, not in the hospital. So that's the way my life started from there. And then those days we used to move around a lot. My parents, because my father was from across Capitol. It's close to Page, Arizona, so that's where he's from. So I guess that those days they move around a lot. They move from here, they move through here, all the way across Red Lake, Wildcat Peak, and then right across the Capitol. I guess that's how they met each other down there. So from there on, they go on to Gap. They move down, they go across the Byway. They kind of just move around like this, here and there. Those days, they won't say nothing too. Even they move with the sheep. They move with the sheep, and then they move with some livestock, whatever they have. So.
And you were telling me that wherever they found a stream or whatever they found a source of water, that's where they wanted to be.
Well, this is my family that they move around a lot in the summertime. When it gets warm, they go on. And that's how they go across. Just to move, I guess. Just like you're saying, you're traveling to different places. So that's where they go across, and that's how they met each other, I guess. So, and they move around all the way down, and then back to the city, back up this way. That's by the time the summer's over. So there used to be a place down over here, about 4 or 5 miles down south up there. So they moved back over there, all of them. There was about 5 families, the same family. My aunt, my uncle, they all moved together in the winter time. So we spent the winter time all together in one place. So that's the way they used to do. Maybe that's the way they met them. So my father was from there across. So, and then after when I was about, this was 1935. That's when I was born. And then when I was about 5, 6, 7 years old, they put me to school, the boarding school. I used to have a big nut. When I got there, they were just like a service. You know, when they go to service, they shave all your hair off, nothing on there.
Right.
So that's the way it was. It was just like a military school, boarding school then. So they had to cut my nut off back here.
Right.
So my mother was crying because she told me not to cut my hair. In the traditional way, in Navajo ways, you're not supposed to cut our hair because there's a story to it. The story is that when you have a long hair, that's the symbol of a rain, thunder. That was for that purpose. So you never cut a hair. Even a horse hair, horse tail, you're not supposed to be cutting it. So that's the way I was. And then when they did that to me, my mom just cried. She was crying because they shaved all my hair off and everything.
Well, the Nazarites in the Bible, in the Old Testament, were like that too, I believe.
Uh-huh.
They had certain vows that, first of all, they didn't drink wine, and they never cut their hair. They weren't supposed to cut their hair because it was like sacred. It was like Samson. His strength was in his hair, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to that.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
There's
Yeah,
a lot
that's
to
what I
that
was
story, not just Navajo tradition, but biblically there's a lot to that story as well.
Yeah, that's the way it was. And then when I got to school, that's what happened. But one time my granddaughter was the one that was telling me, how did she survive through that depression place way back then? Well, I told her that my grandma and my grandparents they know how to survive from there's a lot of food out there those days. They can almost get anything off the land, not just the field, but off the land, all over. They go out there and they know what to get.
Growing wild.
Wild food out there. There's a lot of them out there. So that's how we went through depression and all that. When they had no food, but she managed to put food on the table. Not the food that we eat now, like canned and all that canned stuff. But this one was the regular food of the country.
Right.
So she, and then at the same time they plant. At the same time there's some peaches, apples. They know how to fix all these things. So that's how we survive. And then they have a little ice refrigerator type earth. It's just been dig inside the hill. It's just like a real cold area where the shack is made out of that same sand. They make a little shop out of it, and then they put food in there.
That's what kept it cold.
They kept it cold.
Kept it from spoiling?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the way it was. And then, I don't know, one time I went back over there, I tried to look for it, but the sand was all covered with it. I don't know if it's still there, but probably the pole is still under the ground.
Wow.
So that's the way they used to save all these food and all these dry apples, peaches, apricots, corn. There's a lot of ways that they used to fix white corn, blue corn, but the yellow corn they use them for Sabbath, for praying. The yellow corn, the yellow corn is for the morning. The dawn, you see all that yellow light. That's when you use the yellow corn. So
and the white corn?
the white corn in the morning.
Okay.
White corn in the morning, and then in the evening the yellow corn. When the sun
Sunset.
goes down, you see all that yellow.
Wow.
And then in the morning it's white, so you use the white corn, and then the yellow corn in the evening. So that's the way it was. So they separate them like that. So that's the way she was. Those days, our grandparents, they work hard. They never get tired. Even as short as they are, there was never I seen a old couple tall like me. They're all short. So they had everything. I was raised with a lot of chickens, and the sheep, and the goats, and the horses. There was nothing I can say to that I got hungry or anything, or to be hungry, or she knows a lot of ways of survival. So I never thought of anything anyway like that anymore. The canned up to date like that, nothing. We never did eat that kind of stuff. Never ate. Nothing. Even the salt, they used to get the salt down in the Grand Canyon. They dig it out from there and they bring it back over here. Nowadays they use it for the first lap and the baby. When they first left, they use that to put salt with whatever that. They boil it for them and they pass it out, the little one. It's the way they do it now.
And your parents, your grandparents lived until they were over 100 years old?
110, 107 years old. Because I went over there around when I was about 5 or 6 years old. And then they raised me all the way from there until they left. But my grandmother was a real... I used to sleep inside right here with the goat skin, sheep skin, wrap me up and put it in her hair, put myself in there with it. And there was never a day that was a whip or anything used on. She was really precious. And then when I last touch her, you can easily just take her skin up like this. That's how old she got.
And you lived at the basin, down in the basin of the canyon?
No, it's on this side. Across way over there. You know where that mountain is?
Okay.
On this side, on the west side, that's where we used to live.
Okay, and there was a dugout in the side of the mountain?
No. That's after that, But this one is up there. There was a little hogan. Just like I was telling you last.
The small one.
The small.
Right.
I went over there, and then when I looked at it, I was too tall for now.
Too tall for you?
Yeah,
Your feet would stick out the front door,
my
right?
feet would be sticking out the window. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
Just, so that's how small the hogan was. I never knew until I went back up there and see that foundation.
Right.
Was so small. And the shed that they used to have in front of the hogan.
Mm-hmm.
So it was something amazing, real. And then all the field that he used to plant. It's a big area, but only my grandfather was the only one that planted. No water, nothing. We used to have a lot of rain. Never to irrigate.
So tell me about when you lived at the base of the canyon, and they used to, your in-laws used to come and bring barrels of water to the edge, or they would throw the firewood down, and it would land in the back, toward the back of the hook, and then you go collect it for the... Tell me about those times.
Well, after that, after I went to school, then I started my schooling from there every year, and then my father used to take me to school in the horseback, no vehicle, nothing. We ride through here down to Tuba. They just dropped me off over there, and no visit until school out.
And that was like 18 miles from here, right?
18 miles, yeah.
On horseback?
Yeah.
Through the canyon?
Horseback right straight through here, all the way down to Tuba.
Wow.
Sometimes on the wagon. But not too long after that he died from cancer. So after that, that's when I went to my grandparents after he left. So I done my schooling down at Tuba all the way until I was about 15, 16 years old. But in between then, we used to live down in here, down in Coal Canyon. That's where we had this trail down in there. We We chased the sheep down in there in the winter time. Then we lived down there, and then my other grandma, my aunt, they used to live down in there. We had a big field way down below. It used to be fancy. There's a rod that's coming together right there. You can see from here, right there, there was a fence right through there. Up this way was a big cornfield. So they used to plant down there. Just like I said, it was plenty of rain.
There was plenty of rain at that time, and I noticed at this corner, at this rim of the canyon where it starts here, is like a gully where the water would flow down into the canyon.
Yeah.
And that's where it went down into the fields where the corn was growing.
Yeah. Well, and then way down there, further down that way. But from here, it's just a wash. But by the time it hits down to that flat area, it spreads out just like you're irrigating.
Wow.
So that's why they plant down there.
How convenient.
The shed is still sitting there. One time I was riding down a horse down there. It was still there.
Still there.
Wow. So it's all caved in now. I don't know about now because and then my other grandparents lived further down that way. Further down. He did the same thing too. He used to plant squash, corn, melon, cassavas, and everything. It's a real rich land down in there that we used to plant. He did the same thing too. The water comes down all the way from here. By the time it hits down to the flat area, it spreads out real even like that. That's where they plant.
Who was the first person in your family to become Christian?
When I came back, and then I came back, finished my schooling, then I came back, and then, those days, when you gotta marry somebody else, you don't know nobody, because I didn't know my wife way back then. Just once. So it's the mother, they're the two that has to talk about it.
Right.
They had to agree on it. They had to pay each other's due. My mom has to pay the mother of my wife.
This is like the gypsy culture too, or
something like that.
Like a dowry.
Yeah.
A lot of cultures still practice that today.
Yeah.
Gypsy culture is very adamant.
Nowadays it's still the same.
Right.
But then it's the way they do it. So that's how I got to this family. I went across from there to here. Before then, my mom was, she was about 60, 70, 80 years old then. So one day, I guess they were, my other aunt, there were quite a few ladies. My aunt, my sisters, they were older than me, from another different family, not the blood, but they were all going to church. They had the church way back in where I was born, just to get together. But that guy that I was talking about, that Herbert guy, and his wife from Rocky Ridge, Hard Rock Mission, this is where they used to come in. They come through here to minister down here, to preach down here. That's when that church was started. So,
and that was in the 40s?
In around 45, 46, 47. It was going for quite a while. And then, and then that the guy was talking about, that Scott Franklin, down in South Cuba, that was the only church too, Southern Baptist Church. So they'd go over there. And then I guess that's how she got to know the Lord. And then she had
Your mom, your mother.
My mom. She had a lot of stuff for us in traditional way, the bundles for us. But I guess the preacher told her you can't have that. So she just gave it to him, and I don't know what he did with it. So from there on, we got to that. That's how I got to know the Lord after that. She was the one that told us. So I don't know how she knew that she was going in 66. And then she said, I want to marry all of you all. Just like saying, I want to marry you guys off and I'm going to go.
Wow.
Make sure you have a good place to stay type thing. That's the way I thought of it.
So she perceived, you believe she perceived that she was ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to make sure that you were going to be settled and established before she left. Wow.
My life. So that's what she did. So my brother was the last one that he was married off in Navajo, so she stayed up there for a while. So that's how I know the Lord. From there on, and then I went across, and then they was already Christian. My wife's family, they were already Christians. So I was just kind of blending right there with it. And then my uncle was a preacher too then.
Your uncle was a preacher?
Yeah. Yeah, she used to teach my kids as they grew up. Kids all these, they still talk about it.
So did he minister primarily to the Navajos?
Yeah.
Wow, so he was a Navajo minister.
Yeah. And that guy that from Hard Rock Mission, he was a Navajo too. He was my brother.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So right in that time, I was just kind of blending with everything. I had no hard time. I didn't even ask question or anything because I know you can't ask question about the Lord. That's what He says in the Bible. So all I had to do was just go in with it, and I was already blending with the family over here. From there on, I already started raising my family. I just herded sheep for a year. It was too much for me because there was over 1,000 sheep that I had to herd every day through the summer, through the winter. Winter was the toughest one because the sheep would be lambing out there. And then I had to haul them in with the gunny sack, 4, 5, 6 lamb a day, haul them back over here, go out there again, get some more. So one day, one summer, I just got out of bed and thought of going to work. So I did. My uncle was ready to leave for work too. He was a policeman down in Tuba. So I left.
Now this is
In 1955, that's when I started working.
and the Navajos have their own law enforcement
Yeah.
group.
So they had then. He was a captain. He was a policeman first, and then he went to captain. Then later on, he was a judge. So he got 3. That's when he left. So that's when I learned the Lord. Every time when I do anything, I just give it to the Lord, and that's handles everything for me every day. That's the way it works. So that's the way I was taught to do it, and then that's the way I am, and that's the way I taught my kids. When you get up, you just give everything to the Lord. And the evening when you come back, you're thankful for that. If you've done something a little wrong, speak something, said something, think some way, look somebody, in the evening you just ask for forgiveness. That's all it takes. That's what I've been telling him. So from there on, and then my work, in 55, I started working. So through my job, all the 36 years that I worked, just like I was saying, that it really helped me through my work, raising my kids. Now after that, my grandkids, and then my grandkids. So there's 2 generations now. So that's the way my life went. So up to this day, I still pray for them, everybody, all the way from the old age down to the babies throughout the world. So that's the way my prayer I have. And everything I have here, that's the way I am right now, up to this age. So I still say.
That's special. And what's your favorite verse in the Bible?
John 3:16 is my favorite. It's in my heart. I can memorize it right there, right off. So anyway, I make testimony a lot of revivals around the reservation. We used to go over there too, but after she got sick on me like that, it's really hard for me to take her.
Now, when I first met you, I believe it was like November of last year. You were experiencing some difficulty with your health, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then since then, you've the Lord's given you, He's restored your strength, and now you're back out in the fields, and and your wife is doing so much better, and it seems like everybody's just doing really well.
Yeah. Yeah. After that, all this has happened to her. She was really down on us for a while, and then just right when she got back on her feet and she broke her leg again, she went all the way back down in there. That's when she came in. Mm-hmm. So we started up all the way from the square one, same place. Mm-hmm. So we, up to this day, after you guys came about and prayed for us, and then my side of the story is that they told me that I had a prostate cancer, so I was going down with it, and then all of a sudden, everybody started helping me in different ways. Mm-hmm. And then you pray for us and my wife, and then right now up to this day, I'm getting better. I realize it.
Everything's going uphill.
Mm-hmm.
So the blessing of the Lord is is making rich.
Yeah, every night I pray about it, and
divine health and
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how He helped me. Just like I said, through my job, through anything I do, even playing basketball, I go through all that. And I never got hurt through the game that I played all my life. And then right now my grandkids are like that too. So I encourage them in a lot of ways, and I encourage them to know the Lord. There's somebody out there that's with you every day, every second of the day. He's with you.
What would you say? If you just look into the camera and just, what would you? How would you encourage other Navajos to seek the Lord? How would you encourage them? Yeah.
Okay.
Navajos.
I've been around there. Everybody's talking English. And down a lot of these people are trying to get back on the road, back on their Navajo traditional ways, and talking Navajo language. But nowadays you can almost not talk no more Navajo. because a lot of them they don't understand. But we're trying to, like this age, like her age, they know it. But their kids, they're the one there.
They lost touch.
Yeah, so I had to use both in English and Navajo. So that's the way I encourage them. You can't, I just tell them that you can't hide them from the Lord. If you're down in the ocean, the floor of the ocean, He's down there. If you crawl under a rock, He's right there. He's living there. If you go up in the air somewhere so high in a plane, He's up there. You can't hide, even behind the hill or anywhere. So that's the way I explain it to them. And so that they understand the Lord is watching you every day through the night. So that's and then every one of us, each one of us, we had an angel that's sitting right here beside us.
Amen.
That's the way I explained it to them.
Well, you prayed last night. You prayed just a beautiful prayer in Navajo.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say? Would you pray a little prayer in Navajo for that the Lord would pour out His Spirit on the Navajo reservation once again, and that there would be a great awakening, and that the Lord would just really touch these people in these final days, that the Lord would do a great work amongst the Navajos. Would you pray a little prayer in Navajo for us?
Okay. Kasi ada ni we bar ahead now. Nalta sijadigin kad kon ya na dit sadi kon kit kon lo ya kon ya te kon ya na da stado kon ya te e kon ne nje kodo ni ke na pe khana chi na pa do le kon dis kon ni ke hosni do kodo a te don le ke na da te dit a kon kha da ya na do az da sa ni tino kon as a community, as a family, and all throughout the world, Biyel dan dashin kompani ni dis chilo ya koto ne nje kon ya to ya peta yes kato ya na kota to no is kon hare kreitsando da il tena kote ya in that state or is mukadi was throughout the world that the corner the outland and leni the harland and leni sa there church handa chanda the skokon Arobchen dawi nani ragozel ona she waliat naschi zaat kon laat ekon bekon londo le pata holnyato le suza de nachni dat ekon aros la sodan lini kon ni cha kon tira tini kon e be kon ta hon kon ate we ekon suzun be hasin lido le to kon salaudan le kon da schoje kon Needs art, Hida, Tunda, Kadokon, Swallow, Yate, where you can consultant leader, president, vice president, other consultants, student leader, that Tokun. This shame about Harian, get at an idol, other consultant, and so can get her on the Nija art and Lico. Zade Kuya de Hokesta, the Shin House down, Noble, Haba, the Holiadole. And Habiki that any idol is contal show, those cow, Kunjanda, Koko, but Chin leader, but then leader is Koya de Hokon, Natans Kompe, Nabiba, the Chin, Pato is Kon, Otae Kon, so this leader, they Kondab. I been a honey guitar, constitution, be hostile leader, 그다의 고동주주스 리더를 딘디의 프라이스 비집은 시다 리더를 Amen.
Well, Ed, thank you so much for sharing this time with us and for sharing your life, and thank you for your heart. I really appreciate it, and just really pray that this message would touch many, many, many people and change a lot of lives. I'm sure it will. God bless you. Thank you so much.
I just want to say another word that if I want to do something like that, I just want to say that it's good to know the Lord, that He's with us every day, takes care of us, even from the sick, everywhere. He's taking care of us. So if you, anywhere, if you kind of feel some way, just speak with Him, because He's right there with you. He's not far away. He's right there. All you do is just bow your head and pray.
Always with us.
Yeah, He's always with us.
Always
so that's
with
what
us.
I would try to encourage whoever is going to listen. It's real nice, it's good. You can raise your family with it. You can have a lot of ways it's going to help you. Anything that you have is going to help you to take care of your life. The prayer is the main thing that you have to live by every day to day with everybody that you have, your family and everything. So that's the way the life goes on that you have to go. So I encourage every one of you to try and learn, know the Lord, your God, and everything. It's going to help you through your life, protect you, guide you, protect you. It's going to give you safety. So that's what I like to encourage everybody to.